Oh, I had my air filter on for that whole flight.
Rearming complete.
Why don't we need the wobble pump all the time? That's weird. Clear. Hey, hey. Uh-oh, mags help. Mags help.
Yeah, they do help a little, yeah.
It's because of the booster coils in this, you can start without the mags, and then when you take your fingers off the starter and booster, it dies.
Yeah.
That's better. It may be stress-free to fly, but not so much at takeoff. Oh boy.
Yeah. She is a little twitchy on takeoff.
Where'd he go? There it is. Trim it out. Taking fuel from the slipper tank. There's the slipper. I like a gun sight on just to give me a point of reference. Oh, once again I've lost him. There he is. One thing that I'm not crazy about on this map is all these buildings should be covered in soot. Instead, they all look like they were just pressure washed.
Yeah, it looks a little bit too clean.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody burned coal back then. Things should be sooty. Also, for all this industry surrounding us, there's hardly any active smokestacks, if any.
That's also true, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if it's the prettiest. I really like the Mustang as well, although it's got kind of more of a modern look than this, but this is definitely the prettiest Spitfire variant. Yeah, well, I would like to see an earlier version as well.
Yeah, I'd like a Mark V.
Or even, you know, a variant with the Griffin, like a Mark 14 or something. That'd be cool.
They'd be interesting. They say at that point they were kind of overpowered for the airframe, and that's why most people consider this to be kind of the ultimate. They got everything just right on this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Mark V's and earlier only have the single radiator under the right wing, which looks really lopsided.
Yeah.
And they've got those great big weird looking exhaust stacks.
True. And 3-bladed props.
Yeah. And the nose isn't quite as long as it doesn't have the dual stage supercharger. And yeah, by the time they went to the full bubble canopy and kind of got rid of the Razorback, they don't look like Spitfires anymore to me.
That is also true. There, finally firmly in the slot. This is a cool looking base.
Yeah, this is East Church. I've only flown over it a couple times, so
Yeah, I'm
Never
not sure if
really-
I even have. I don't recognize it. I must not get out this way much.
no. Ah, it's the same with the fields in the center, like Detling, Head Corn. You never really get out there much. Because all the spawns on pretty much any server are always around on Hawkinge or the Lipney.
Yep. Someone needs to get a World War II server going with field capture again. I don't care if the Jerrys never invaded. I want to pretend they did.
Well, the 4A took over that Storm of War server, didn't they? Well,
I think so.
then again, it is Normandy, and I don't like Normandy.
There's things I like about it, but this one's definitely prettier.
Yeah.
I think it performs a bit better too.
Could be. I always thought that this map was a bit more, had a bit more impact on the performance. But
I feel it right over Dover, but other than that, it's pretty much as good as DCS gets for me. It seems like it might have something to do with how much VRAM you have on your card. I'm on a 1080
Yeah.
with only 8 gigabytes. A 1080 Ti would give me 11 gigabytes, and I have a feeling that would make a big difference.
well, my old system ran a 1080 Ti, and it was fine on the channel. Although there were some instances you did still notice that. It was definitely noticeable on the Marianas, but the Marianas is just poorly optimized in that sense.
Exactly, and that's the thing. They kind of go through a cycle. They'll add stuff to a map, and it'll get slow again, and then a few updates later, they'll silently optimize it and it'll get better. And then they add
But you
stuff
gotta keep
and it
in
gets
mind,
slow.
yeah, you gotta keep in mind that the multiplayer also runs as less performance than single player does for some reason. At least that's what I've always found. 'Cause on my old system, I couldn't even run some of the combat servers I used to fly on. I should just crash right out of the gate. Well,
Yeah,
just-
DCS, it's not even nice enough to tell you that you ran out of RAM. And unless you read the log file, you'd never know. It just crashes out. Russians.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, this new system is running like a dream, though.
But yeah, that should actually be host RAM. That's the issue there, not the card.
Hmm.
I am now running 48 gigabytes, which seems to do pretty well.
I went a little overboard on my new system. So
What do you got?
I'm running just a motherboard running the Z690 with i9-12900K.
What RAM size?
The 128,
So, sorry, how many gigabytes?
128,
Oh, gotcha. Nice.
and I'm running the 3090 with 24 gigs.
Yeah, 128 gigs should cover you for quite a while.
Yeah. I mainly got because I also do some the 3D modeling and stuff and rendering in the background aside from this. So I wanted to kind of beef it up a little bit so that would go a little bit quicker as well.
Sure, more is more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if I was building a new system, I'd put at least 64 in it.
Yeah, I initially thought about doing 64, but then I think, you know what, let's just throw another 64 and get a step ahead for the future, because I know with all the stuff that's coming out and all the stuff they want to do with that within the next couple of years, and not just that, but everything else that comes out, so it's just the new, well, the occasional game I do play aside from this, they're becoming pretty big performance hogs nowadays.
Yeah. Yep, future
A
proof.
lot of, yeah. Go ahead.
Ooh, Nelly.
It's just,
Oh, he almost hit a duck.
yeah, I noticed.
Oh, do the ducks actually sink? Seagulls, I should say.
Could be.
I'd be pretty impressed if you see the same seagulls in the same position I do. Someone needs to redo that animation. It's awful.
It is, yeah.
It's like, have you ever seen a bird?
Well, that is definitely one of the things that's not on the top of the priority list.
You know, it didn't need to be there in the first place.
No.
Well, and what's on the priority list that they announced this week in the newsletter? Making it so that we can change positions in multiplayer. It's like, it should have just been that way in the first place.
True.
Now they're patting themselves on the back for fixing a bug they created. I mean, it had to be on purpose even.
Well, I wouldn't call it a bug. It's just something that was never a thing in multiplayer.
Well, it's just a rude, every other sim I've ever... I mean, even offline you can switch between positions. But as soon as you go multiplayer, probably because it saves some programmer 15 minutes. Or,
Probably, yeah.
or his job task didn't say to do that, so he didn't. Probably being some obtuse, surly Russian.
Mm.
And now they get to pay him again to do it right. With our money.
Well, Who's the smart guy? The people contracting him, or the programmer?
Well, I'm a programmer myself, and I have feelings about people who intentionally do it poorly. Whee! I had to look it up. These wooden barriers going out in the water are called groins.
What are they now? What are they used for?
They help erosion on the beach.
Ah.
And I'm not
Okay.
sure on this one, but I suspect they might also stop riptides for swimmers.
Okay.
But yeah, I believe the primary purpose is to prevent beach erosion. Groins with a Y. Not like crotch groins.
Mm-hmm. Still sounds funny.
It does. It's a funny word.
Ah, he said groin. So funny. I think there actually is a little bit of a ground effect because I just flew over a tree and I got a little tail waggle again.
Yep, I've had it a few times this flight. And it was while I was ahead of you, so it couldn't have been wake turbulence. Again, that's not what ground effect should do, but then we don't really have ground turbulence modeled, so we can pretend it's that. Or actually, there's a setting for it in the weather, and it only affects, I believe the turbulence only happens on the lower altitude. One huge bug, I think it's still there, you notice it on NTTR because everything's so high, is that the weather wind speed settings are above sea level, not above ground levels.
Mm.
I was building an NTTR mission, and I wanted realistic winds at up at 4,000 feet, and realized, nope, those are the winds on the runway. I wish NTTR was more popular. I like that map.
I flew it a lot when they released it. At some point it got pretty boring because there's not really much going on that server, on that map.
I think I just like that it's recognizably North America. Well, kind of, with some exceptions. They went and put, like, electric commuter trains in Las Vegas. They don't seem to understand that even